Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So, it's another episode of Cleavers for today, and I'd like to welcome you all. I hope you were able to learn something last week and you were able to sit down with yourself and go through the reflection questions. Did you do it? Okay. So, welcome today. Welcome. It's nice to have you all with me. And you're welcome again to Cleavers Forge. It's a live weekly series for singles powered by the Marriage Trove. Okay. At the Marriage Trove, we have a community for singles and it's called the Cleavers League. It's so this whole free series, it's a way or a medium to help singles get forged so they can unlock marital bliss. So my name is Domie Asogwa. I am a marriage coach and counselor. I'll be taking you on a topic titled Your Marriage is Not Delayed. You may be unprepared. In today's coaching session, our topic is actually a follow up from last week's topic. You find out that a lot of times single ask themselves, why is my marriage delayed? Why is my marriage delayed? Some assume that the answer is spiritual. Others think it might just be bad luck or simply waiting for God's timing. While all these factors may be part of someone's journey, there is another possibility that deserves honest attention. Yes, I know all of those things could be possible, but let's talk about another aspect that needs your attention. If marriage is not being delayed by external forces, it could be delayed by internal development. And that is what we want to talk about today. It could be because of internal development. Please note that preparation for marriage is not punishment. And I told you last week that your waiting season should not just be spent waiting alone. You should spend that waiting season in preparing for marriage. So I will take it again. Preparation is not punishment. It is actually God's way to ensuring that what He gives you, you can sustain. God wants to ensure that if He brings a spouse your way right now, and the two of you get into marriage, that you can actually sustain that marriage. Many people are praying for marriage, okay, I want to get married. You put a timeline, you're having faith for marriage, but they are overlooking the very qualities that make marriage thrive. So there are qualities that will make your marriage thrive. Are you overlooking those qualities? Let me tell you, a healthy marriage requires more than just desire. It requires that you are ready. It requires readiness. A healthy marriage requires readiness. So on today's session, we're going to follow up on what we discussed last week. Last week, we were asking ourselves, why are you single? We talked about why you are single. We looked at truths no one else would tell you. And I want to tell you right now, if you didn't watch that last week's session, please go back and catch a replay. You need to watch the replay because it's going to lay the right foundation you need regarding what we'll be talking about today. Okay? So, on our conversation today, I want you to take it as an invitation to evaluate yourself. As I'm taking you through this series, I'm going to be asking you questions. So please use today's conversation to evaluate yourself. And I want you to be able to evaluate yourself honestly. Don't evaluate yourself with shame. This is not aimed at bringing shame. No. But I want you to do that evaluation as a commitment for growth, as a commitment that you're going to prepare for marriage. Okay? So please pay attention. I would even love it if you have your notepads with you and if you can write. Okay? So I'll just give you a minute to grab your notepad and your pen. Please take a minute and grab your notepad and your pen. Have you done that? Have you grabbed your notepad and your pen so you can take notes? Yes, because I want you to be able to note certain things that's going to help you. I really want after this session, you're able to sit with yourself and evaluate things that would help you grow. The aim of this session is personal growth as it has to do with marriage. Okay, so let's move on. Please note that a delay in marriage does not always mean denial. That your marriage seems to be delayed does not mean God has denied you of getting into the marriage institution. Sometimes that delay you're experiencing is an opportunity for you to become the person who can build and sustain a healthy lifelong relationship. So, into this session, I'm going to talk to you about ways or reasons why your marriage is not delayed. And it could just be a pointer that you are unprepared. So, at the end of this session, you should be able to understand the difference between wanting marriage and being prepared for marriage. I hope you know it's different. You can want marriage and not be prepared for marriage. It's very true. I also want you to be able to identify areas of personal development that can influence your relationship success. Thirdly, at the end of this session, I want you to be able to recognize habits that undermine healthy relationships. So there could be certain habits you have right now that is undermining you being able to build and grow a healthy relationship. At the end of this session, I want you to be able to develop a practical growth plan for becoming marriage ready. Yes, you're going to develop a practical growth plan for becoming marriage ready. I hope you're ready for us to go into this class fully. So, like I said, this series is faith based. So, every week we are going to have an anchor scripture for which I'll be teaching or coaching you. So, today's anchor scripture is Luke 14, verse 28. And it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough to complete it? So this scripture is asking you a question. You want to build a tower. Before building, won't you first sit down and try to estimate if you have enough to actually complete that tower? So I'm going to rephrase that question. Oh, so you want to get married. Have you sat down to estimate the costs? You want to have a healthy marriage. You want to enjoy a good marriage. Have you sat down to estimate the costs? Do you have what it takes to be able to get into marriage and do marriage for a lifetime? complete it and enjoy every bit of it year by year? Have you counted the costs? Please note that marriage is one of life's greatest commitments. I think it is second to salvation. Okay? And the truth is that whoever you choose to marry can either make or mar you. So you see, the decision of a spouse or the decision of whom to marry is really one of life's greatest commitments. I would like to encourage you. Wise preparation is part of wise stewardship. So, in today's coaching session, I want us to see reasons why I can make that statement that your marriage is not delayed. But the real problem is that you may be unprepared. Yes, you heard me right. You may be unprepared for marriage. So, we're going to look at 10 reasons why I said this. So, let's see. Reason 1. Your readiness for marriage is more important than your readiness to marry. Did you get that? Your readiness for marriage is more important than your readiness to marry. And many of you are concentrating on your readiness to marry. Oh, I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to get married. But you haven't paid attention to your readiness for marriage. Are you really ready for marriage? Do you know what marriage entails? Do you know what you need to build to have a successful marriage? So, it could be that you're just ready for a wedding. Yeah, you're preparing for a wedding. You're thinking of wedding venue, wedding gown, how you're going to look, the people you're going to invite, and all of that. But the wedding lasts for just one day. And marriage is for a lifetime. So let me ask you a question. Are you ready for marriage? Marriage requires a lifetime of patience, a lifetime of sacrifice, a lifetime of adaptability, a lifetime of forgiveness, a lifetime of responsibility. Do you have what it takes to offer a lifetime of these things? Are you prepared for marriage? So I want you to ask yourself right now, am I preparing for a wedding or a lifelong partnership? Go ahead and ask yourself, am I preparing for a wedding or a lifelong partnership? Are you able to answer that question? Okay, let's move ahead. Reason 2 why I said that your marriage is not delayed. You may just be unprepared. The second reason is that you lack the right character traits. In marriage, character determines capacity. Character is what remains when attraction fades and life becomes demanding. Truly, that euphoria you feel, when they are wooing you or you're just at the early phase of your relationship, is not always going to be there in marriage. Will there be happiness? Yes. Will there be joy? Yes. But it is dependent on your level of preparedness. So when that attraction fades, when the butterflies in your stomach are no longer fluttering, guess what? Character will be what will remain. Character will remain when marriage becomes demanding. So please note that healthy marriages are sustained by character traits. And I want to list a few of such character traits to you. Character traits like honesty. You can't do commitment without honesty. Character traits like integrity. Being able to do the right thing when no one is watching you. Okay? Integrity is going to help with faithfulness in marriage. It's going to help with fidelity in marriage. Are you saying? Have you developed these character traits? Character traits such as humility. Are you humble enough to walk the journey of becoming a husband or a wife? Humility. Another character trait is reliability. Are you reliable? Can your partner depend on you? See, the commitment of marriage is for a lifetime. So the character trait of reliability is very important, because when you get to make those vows, you're clearly saying, I am going to be able to rely on you and you should be able to rely on me. Have you built the character trait of self control? Are you able to control lust? Or you think when you go to the altar on that day, you know, all of the evil associated with lustfulness will just, a miracle will just happen at the altar and it will vanish? No, it's something you would have trained from singlehood. So, have you developed the character trait of self control? How about the character trait of kindness? Kindness is required in marriage. It's a lack of kindness that makes people say love is wicked. Are you seeing? So, if your marriage ends up lacking kindness, wickedness will be the order of the day, and of course you don't want that. So, have you developed the character trait of kindness? Can you be kind to your spouse all the days of your life? You know, something amazing in Proverbs 31, when they spoke about the Proverbs 31 woman, he said that she does her husband good all the days of her life. And that's the standard. Okay, as the man, you're supposed to do your wife good all the days of your life. As the woman, you're supposed to do your husband good all the days of his life. Okay, and this will boil down from kindness. So, have you developed the character trait of kindness? You can't borrow character from your spouse. So that your spouse is kind and you're not kind, he can't borrow it to you. Or you say you get married and maybe you become sexually transmitted. No, it can't happen. So you need to start grooming it for yourself. Okay, please, it must already be a part of who you are before you even get into marriage. You need to start cultivating these character traits I have mentioned. So right now, singles, I want you to ask yourself, if someone observed my daily habits for 1 month, would they conclude that I am ready for the responsibilities of marriage? I'll take that question again. If someone observed my daily habits for 1 month, would they conclude that I am ready for the responsibilities of marriage? Are you able to answer that question? So, are you ready? Are you ready? Ready or not? Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's see the third reason. Reason number three, why I said your marriage is not delayed. You may just be unprepared. So let's see. The third reason is because you are not able to handle responsibility. You're not able to handle responsibility. That's why marriage is going to increase responsibility. In fact, there's someone I sat under once and she defined marriage as responsibility. Marriage is responsibility, and marriage increases responsibility. You see, as a single, you feel like, oh, there's so much going on with you. Imagine having to partner up with someone else, and then you guys now start raising godly seeds. Imagine the increase in responsibility for both you and your spouse. So let it be clear to you that marriage increases responsibility, and marriage is responsibility. So you can't remove responsibility from marriage. So I would like you to ask yourself a few questions. Am I able to keep my promises? Am I able to manage my time wisely as a single? Am I dependable? Can people trust my word? Do I finish what I start? If you're able to answer these questions and you get a positive response from yourself, then it might just be that you have grown responsibility. You have grown you can be classified as someone who is responsible enough to get into marriage. Please note that someone who avoids responsibility while single is unlikely to embrace it after marriage. So when you stand at the altar and they say you may kiss your bride or you're kissing your husband, they don't now just baptize you with the ability to take responsibility. It doesn't work that way. So if you've been avoiding responsibility as a single, it is unlikely for you to embrace it after marriage. So you see why you need to become a responsible single. You see why you need to grow in taking responsibility. Let's look at the fourth reason why I said your marriage is not delayed. You might be unprepared. Reason four, you are not yet able to regulate your emotions. You aren't able to regulate your emotions. Emotional regulation matters in marriage because once you and your spouse come together as two different people from two different backgrounds with two different mindsets, there will always be conflict. Okay? But how you are able to manage conflict is what makes your marriage either grow or prosper or fail. So marriage will test your emotional maturity. Healthy relationships require people who can respond instead of react in the face of conflict. So they are not reacting emotionally, on the basis of how I feel. Oh, I'm so angry right now, so I can break all the plates, I can carry this thing and just hit you. No, not that. You're able to respond. What is the matter on ground? Can we sit down and have a conversation and address the issue on ground without attacking the person? Are you able to respond instead of reacting to your emotions? Are you able to listen without becoming overly defensive? Nobody can talk to me. That is who I am. you know are you able to handle disappointment without becoming destructive? Do you know that there are a lot of people that can't handle disappointment? So once things doesn't work the way they maybe envisioned, they become destructive. If you're like that, you're a time bomb waiting to happen in marriage. Yeah. Are you able to manage stress without taking it out on others? If you're not yet able to manage stress without taking it out on others, guess who you'll be bleeding on? Your spouse. And then when you have little children, you start bleeding on them. You would pour all your hurt on them. It can result in you becoming a nag, yelling, or a tyrant in the house, trying to control everybody. So please, guys, ladies, ask yourself right now, how do I respond when I am corrected? How do I react under pressure? Do my emotions control my decision? Gentlemen listening to me, you're going to be the decision maker because you're going to be occupying a place of leadership in your home. So, are your decisions on the basis of how you feel? Is it controlled by your emotions? Oh, I'm happy, so therefore I will. Once I'm sad, therefore I will not. Is that it? So please check. Check. Because this is very important. Let's go on. Let's see the fifth reason why I said you your marriage may not be delayed, but you may be unprepared. Reason 5. You have not learned to build healthy boundaries. You have not learned to build healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are not walls to keep people away from you and all of that. No. They are healthy limits that protect your marriage relationship. Okay? So poor boundaries will often appear as people pleasing, inability to say no, over dependence, allowing disrespect, controlling other people, neglecting personal values just to gain acceptance from others. So that's how poor boundaries show up. And you need to be able to build healthy boundaries for your marriage to thrive. And you can start building it now as a single with your everyday to day relationships. And then when you begin cutting, you start practicing it. Healthy boundaries would encourage respect, it will encourage trust, and it will encourage emotional safety. And guess what? All these three things I have mentioned are very important in marriage. For a marriage to thrive, you need respect, you need trust, and you need emotional safety. And respect is mutual, trust is mutual, emotional safety is mutual. Both of you have to feel safe with yourselves. Okay? So please start building healthy boundaries today. Reason six why I could say your marriage is not delayed, you may be unprepared, is you haven't become financially responsible. Marriage is not entirely about wealth. Yes, you can grow and build wealth in marriage, utilizing the power of two, the power of partnership. But let me tell you something, marriage is basically about stewardship. Stewardship. So you need to build healthy financial habits. Healthy financial habits such as living within your means. Can you say you're living within your means? Avoiding unnecessary debt, you know, the kind of debt, bad debt, where you're just borrowing, to do impulsive buying. You're borrowing just to impress others. Habits like saving consistently. Have you grown healthy financial habits like being able to plan ahead, being able to invest for the future? Have you been able to build practicing generosity? In marriage, you need generosity. Yes, even to your spouse. Okay? So, money problems rarely begin after marriage. They are often carried into marriage. So, you find out that the two people coming together as spouses, they are going to bring their money blueprints, their financial blueprints into marriage. So, if their money ails, it will show up in marriage. But if they've built healthy financial habits, it will also show up in marriage. So, what are you building in your singlehood? Let's see reason seven. Do you know how to work with others? Do you know how to work with others? Why I'm asking you that question is because marriage is teamwork. Don't get it twisted. Marriage is teamwork. If you're struggling right now to cooperate with your family, you're struggling to cooperate with your friends, you're struggling to cooperate with your colleagues, you're even struggling to cooperate with your church members, let me tell you, you may struggle with partnership in marriage if you continue like that. Because marriage requires collaboration, marriage requires compromise, marriage requires shared decision making, marriage requires mutual respect. So if at this point you're not able to, collaborate with other people, you're not able to be a part of a team and flourish while being a part of that team, showing your support and all, then are you really prepared for marriage? Remember, I said marriage is teamwork, okay? Let's see reason eight why I could say your marriage is not delayed. You may just be unprepared. Reason eight, you are inflexible. Flexibility in marriage is a sign of maturity. Life will change, oh, life changes. Trust me, there are going to be different seasons you and your spouse will be experiencing in marriage. You would grow, your spouse would grow. Circumstances around you people will evolve. So things will not remain as it was when you just got married. It will keep changing. So if you're inflexible, if you're a rigid person, you would struggle in marriage because you'll be resisting change. And change is inevitable in marriage. So please, you need to start building on flexibility. For you to be a healthy spouse, you need to learn to adapt. You need to be teachable. You need to be open to learning. You need to be able to apologize. You need to be able to, at certain times in life, adjust your expectations. Yes, I know you expected things to go A, B, C, but what if it is going G, H, I? Can you adjust your expectations? Singles, I am asking you, can you adjust your expectations? Healthy spouses also learn to grow together. So, the base point is that growth requires flexibility. So, you need to be flexible to grow in marriage. So, and that flexibility, you start building it today as a single person. Okay? So, let's move on. Let's see reason 9 why I said your marriage may not be delayed, but you may be unprepared. What's the ninth reason? This, I drafted it as a question, and I'm going to ask you right now. And this is my ninth reason. Is your life worth sharing? Is your life worth sharing? For you to get married, you need to develop a life that is worth sharing. Marriage should add value to an already meaningful life. So if as a single right now you feel like your life has no worth, your life has no meaning, then what are you looking for in marriage? Yes, marriage is you bringing your life and sharing that life with someone else. That person bringing his own life and sharing it with you. Instead of putting your life on hold, why not you continue building aspects of your life that would make your life worth sharing? You could build your relationship with God. You could build your career. You could build your vocation. You could build your business. Yes, in that waiting season, right? You could build healthy friendships. People who will become your circle. Healthy friendships. They'll become your village, even with raising your kids in the future. You could build your physical health. You could start cultivating a healthier lifestyle. Eating better, cooking better meals, exercising, paying attention to your sleep and all of those kind of things. You could build your physical health. You could also build your emotional well-being. You could build your sense of purpose. What's your assignment? What's your mission in this world? What have you been called to solve for mankind? What solution are you bringing to the world? Let me tell you something. A fulfilled person contributes more positively to a marriage than someone expecting marriage to create fulfillment for them. Did you get that? I'll take it again. A fulfilled person contributes more positively to a marriage than someone expecting marriage to create fulfillment for them. So if you're getting into marriage saying, oh, when I get married, it will bring fulfillment to me, it will do this, it will do that, maybe you need to sit down and think again, check it again. Why not pursue fulfillment as a single so that when you're getting into marriage, you can contribute to your marriage more positively? Let's see my very last reason for saying that your marriage is not delayed, you may be unprepared. Reason 10, your readiness is not revealed yet. Your readiness is not revealed yet. Your readiness is revealed in your daily habits. So if we look at your daily habits, would we say you're ready for marriage? I asked you something like that before now. Preparation is really dramatic. It's not, oh, maybe now someone is just worrying me. I want to get into courtship, and in the next 2 months, I would start preparing. No, preparation for marriage is really dramatic. It's really dramatic. It happens in those quiet seasons, behind closed doors, not in public view. Just like the roots of a plant, when the roots are growing and taking depths and gaining strongholds, it's not obvious to the eye. So that's the same way preparation is. It's not something that is dramatic. It's really dramatic. It is found in consistent daily choices, very little small habits, little habits shape future marriages. Little habits like keeping commitments, speaking respectfully, managing conflict well, practicing gratitude, showing empathy, maintaining discipline. Are you seeing? These little habits, when practiced consistently, would shape your future marriage. And guess what? Because you're practicing good habits, it will yield you a good marriage. So I want to ask you this question, singles. Who are you becoming today? The person you're becoming today, is that person preparing you for the relationship you would have tomorrow? So check it. Who you're becoming today, is it preparing you for the relationship you will have tomorrow? So I've been able to give you 10 reasons why you may be unprepared for marriage. And I want you to begin to look into it and start preparing for your marriage. So to take us further in this coaching session, I want to give you a personal marriage growth assessment plan. Okay? So I want you to be able to rate yourself honestly. Maybe you can do the rating from 1 to 5. 1 being that you need significant growth, and 5 means that you've consistently grown in that area. Okay? So please, I'm going to be mentioning certain things, certain character traits, okay, and certain skills you need to build that has to do with relationship success. So when I mention these things, please mark it on your paper if you score a 1 or a 5. That way you know what you need to work on. So the very first one on my list is integrity. Integrity. Rate yourself on integrity. Is it a 1 or a 5? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 4? On integrity, rate yourself between 1 to 5. On emotional regulation, singles, please rate yourself between 1 to 5. Number 3, responsibility. Rate yourself between numbers 1 to 5. Remember I said 1 is that you need significant growth in that area, and 5 means that you've consistently grown in that area. Okay? Number 4, financial stewardship. Rate yourself on your book. Number 5, communication. Rate yourself. What's your communication skills like? You need good communication skills to thrive in your relationship and in marriage. Number 6, humility. Rate yourself regarding humility. Number 7, patience. Rate yourself. What's your score? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Number 8, I think. Rate yourself on flexibility. Are you a rigid person or are you flexible? Number 9, rate yourself on dependability. Number 10, rate yourself on self discipline and self control. So, when you've done that, please identify the 3 lowest scores. Pick out the 3 areas you got the lowest scores. And those 3 areas are the places where you likely need growth the most. So I want you to prioritize those 3 areas and begin to work on growing in those areas. Okay? So before I leave you, there are 2 other things I want to do. I want to give you some questions to reflect on and then some action steps, things you should do in this week while we prepare for next week's session. Okay? So take down the reflection questions I have for you today. Which area of personal growth have I neglected the most? You see, with what we just did, that assessment we did, it will show you the areas you have neglected the most. Okay, those 3 top areas where you scored lowest. Okay. Number 2, what habits today could become problems in my marriage if I left it unchanged? So these reflection questions, remember, you have to sit with yourself and answer them honestly. What habits today could become problems in my marriage if I left them unchanged? Number 3, how do I typically respond to correction or conflict? Please examine yourself. Reflect on these questions and answer yourself honestly. What responsibilities do I currently avoid? Number 5, if marriage happens this year, what personal habits would I need to change immediately? So, when you answer this, is to simply tell you that you should begin to change those habits immediately. Don't wait. Don't wait till you fix a wedding date. You now start trying to work on those things. So, if your marriage is to happen this year, what personal habits would you need to change immediately? Which strengths should I continue developing? Yeah, we all have strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So as much as you might be trying to review and pick out areas of weaknesses, I also know you have areas of strength. So this last reflection question is for you to also recognize your areas of strength and continue developing those areas, because it's going to help you have a healthy marriage. Okay. So finally, let's look at practical action steps. What action steps can you take this week? I want you to be able to commit to a few things, because the purpose of this class is for us to be able to make progress, for us to grow. The Cleavers Forge is all about you getting forged to unlock marital bliss. So I want all of you singles to be able to get into healthy marriages, to be able to unlock bliss, joy, laughter in your marriage. So this week, please take down these practical steps I want you to put into action. Number 1, choose one personal weakness and create a plan to improve it. Ask a trusted mentor or friend for honest feedback about your readiness for marriage. Number 3, begin a daily habit that builds discipline. It could be a habit such as journaling, budgeting, or time management. So whichever one you want to work on, or you can work on all, but build a daily habit that builds discipline. Number 4, practice responding calmly during disagreements instead of reacting impulsively. Start practicing it. It's going to help you. When you get into marriage, you'll be able to stay calm, especially for our gentlemen here. Please start practicing it. Number 5, read a book or listen to a teaching on emotional maturity, responsibility, or healthy relationships. So, any of these topics, just pick a book or try to listen to a message or a teaching on emotional maturity, responsibility, or healthy relationships. Finally, one practical action step I want you to take is to write a personal vision statement describing the kind of spouse you are becoming. So please write a personal vision statement describing the kind of spouse you are becoming. Those are the practical action steps I want you to embark on this week. Please note that marriage is not a destination, it's a journey and it is a responsibility. I already stated that while we're talking a while back. The healthiest marriages are not built by a perfect couple, but by people who are committed to continual growth. So I don't want you to measure your progress only by whether you have found a spouse. Finding a spouse is not all it takes to have a good or healthy marriage. So don't measure your progress by the fact that, oh, I found a spouse or a spouse has found me. No. Measure it by whether you're becoming wiser, whether you're becoming stronger, whether you're becoming kinder, whether you're becoming more dependable and more emotionally mature. So that's what I want you to measure by. Your preparedness for marriage will never be wasted. It won't be wasted. So every lesson you learn today would become a gift tomorrow because it's going to bring you into your future marriage, and you're not just going to be appearing there lost and unprepared. No, you're going to appear ready. And because you are ready, you'll be able to unlock marital bliss. So, singles, I want to thank you greatly for joining me in this live session today. I I would like to tell you, if you think you need personal counseling, you want to talk to me one on one, please reach out at the Marriage Trove on Instagram. Go to our bio and click on online counseling and book a session so we can talk. I can help you gain clarity in your relationship, help you with practical insights to build a flourishing relationship that can lead to marriage. And for those of you who are watching or will catch a replay and you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please click on subscribe on the subscribe button like right now. As you're listening to me say this, please subscribe, because this series is a weekly series, okay, and it's going to help you get forged as a single to unlock marital bliss. I also want to encourage you to follow all of our social media pages on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. It's at the Marriage Trove. And please join our singles community. We have a singles community on WhatsApp called the Cleavers League. Okay, it's a free community. And when you go to our bio on Instagram, you can click on it and you will see the link to join the WhatsApp community. Please join the WhatsApp community, because things like the reflection questions and all of that, I'll be dropping it in the community. So even if you didn't get it, you can pick it up from there. Okay. So singles, see you next time on Cleavers Forge. Same time next week, 12 noon. I will come live to coach you on and to help you get forged to unlock marital bliss. So see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.